what is the core idea of what you want to bring forth, and how do you get to that truth? And in my mind, there's a core truth that we live in, and in my mind, it requires work to get there.
So, CK, by now, if you live in today's world for the most part, and if you have some sort of access, some sort of resources, generally the acceptance is an important tool that we all get to use, that we all benefit from, that is extremely useful and necessary in our life is the internet. This entire collection of information, technology, services, etc., that are available to us, whether it's entertainment or education or information. But in the midst of all of that, the point of view that I'm evangelizing is that the most important resource we get to use, the single most important resource we get to use, is the internet. I mean, our physical body, our brain, our mind, our consciousness, our heart. And the internet, or this collection of technology or systems, and you're a PhD in biochemistry, so you know this well. This is extremely sophisticated and complex. What's going on here for each individual and collectively, the way we grow, in the way our mental processes develop, in the way why one person becomes a smart, benevolent genius, another person becomes a smart, dangerous genius, another person becomes completely deranged. We still don't quite understand all of this, right? But all of this, we see it happening. Why? So, how people can transmute anger to solving a problem or to violence, etc., etc. I can keep going. But this is a very complex system that we barely understand, which is why we're struggling with so many problems in our life today, including violence and disparity. And we are one species that seem to have a larger share of it. Yeah. So this is super important technology. And the two aspects to it is all of a life experience has to be filtered by this layer, this internet. There is no life experience we have outside of it. If you eat lunch today, the system has to digest it and convert into energy. If you're listening to these words coming out of my mouth, you're looking at my words, you're looking at my expression, my gestures, and then processing it in a certain way. And if there were six people in front doing it, then the six people will walk away with slightly different impressions. Some people might become passionate believers, some people might walk away totally skeptical, even though you all have access to the exact same words and expressions and gestures, visually, auditorily. Why is that? Because your internet processes it differently. So, or if it's a piece of music you listen to, or a movie you watch, book you read, doesn't matter. There is no life experience we have outside of the system, and can be very different in the exact same situation. The second is we go through life, and most everyone wants to use this life to express themselves. And we call it self-expression. And the self-expression can be, I want to create the next great musical hit, to I want to write a business plan, to I just want to cook an amazing lunch for my lover, to I want to redecorate my house, whatever it is, we are constantly expressing ourselves. And all of our expression, whether it's physical, mental, intellectual, from the food you cook to the idea you develop to a song that comes from your throat, has to come from this inner technology. Right? There is no self-expression outside of it for each person. So therefore, just logically arguing, again, you're a PhD and you're very familiar with the rational, analytical process of deductive decision making. So putting these two things together, you can reach the conclusion very quickly that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of how this inner technology is maintained. If you know how to keep and operating and running this inner technology in a peak state, you experience life at a peak state, because all life experience has to come from this layer, and you express yourself at a peak state because all self-expression also comes from this layer. Okay? This is making sense?
Totally,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's refutable. It's just very logically argued point. And spoken
So
to
yeah,
thousands
so
of people. So how do you put this inner technology into a state of peak performance? And this is where the operating manual is already available. You and I don't have to figure it out. All of the people who've gone behind in the past that we have long forgotten, whose names we don't remember, have left tiny footprints and use the manuals for us. And that's what evangelize is about. Take charge, take unconditional responsibility for this. And only you can do it. Someone else can guide you a little bit, but most of the work has to be done by you. And this is our principal responsibility. And you're not doing it for the good of the world. The world will move on. It'll keep rotating. In fact, it'll even forget you and leave you behind. Remember, you and I are tiny specks. I don't know about you. I'm not even going to get the little turtle reminder monument, last icon standing that at least poor Genghis Khan got. So no, not even a stone turtle for me. So the only reason you do it is for your own sake, your own growth, your own development, and your own personal journey.